Thank you, Eddie, for making your rearrangement. We can see you much better now.
Okay.
Can see your smiling face.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely. Okay, I guess everybody knows me, so I'll make it short. I'm a past district governor in a district that included Alaska, Eastern Russia, and the Yukon Territory back in 1994-95. I transferred my Rotary membership to NOCO's club just today. It's a Hilo South club, and they will be the sponsors for our eClub. They will be providing financial and technical support. They will be training our officers, and I'm happy that we can lift off to a great start.
Fantastic. Ian?
Can you pass me up? I'm doing some technical stuff.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm Kat Haber. I am new to Rotary, though I am a longtime fan of Steve Yoshida. So I'm very pleased to be exploring this new paradigm of a virtual global Rotary Club. And my personal passion is mentoring emerging leaders, teens and women, and organizing TEDx events. Okay, Eddie?
Okay. I'm Eddie Lim. I'm a practicing physician in Honolulu. I was born and raised in Burma. I left Burma in 1976, but moved to Hawaii in 1993. And my personal passion is to help to those who need, who want, and who will benefit from my assistance. So I met Steve Yoshida while we tried to arrange Dr. Aung San Suu Kyi's trip to Honolulu in 2000. I think 2012 or 13. 13, yes, January 2030.
Oh, Galina.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Galina. Welcome.
Yes.
We're introducing our members now, and Dr.
Yeah.
Eddie now is introducing himself. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dr. Eddie.
Sorry for interruption.
Oh, I'm done. Yeah. So we went to Yakai with Steve, and we're very grateful to Steve that he has helped all the needy people in Rakhine, Burma. Okay.
Oh, Dr. Eddie, what you did just now brought your voice very clear. So I
Okay.
don't know if you were holding the microphone a special way, but it was very clear. Just a
Yes.
second.
Okay.
If you could keep it that way.
Okay. Sure.
So I think welcome, Galina. Galina lives in Houston, Texas, and we met in St. Petersburg, Russia. She's one of the greatest hosts I ever had, and she's a delightful young lady and a great Rotarian. Galina, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, where should I begin? Can I start? I'm from Russia. I studied in St. Petersburg, and actually, then I went back to Kamchatka because I was born in Kamchatka, the peninsula in the Russian Far East, not far from Japan, not far from Alaska. And there I joined the Rotary movement when Steve and other Rotarians came to Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky to organize the first Rotarian club in the, I believe, in the Russian Far East, right? And but then I went back to St. Petersburg, and there I joined another club, St. Petersburg White Knights Club. And while I stayed in St. Petersburg, I was a Rotarian and belonged to that club. And we met with Stephen, who came to Petersburg to the International Rotarian Conference there. And then I went to study in the United States a little bit more and became a professional interpreter and started working for NASA, the Johnson Space Center in Houston. And unfortunately, I was not able to join a club here in Houston. Of course, it's my work, nature of my work, and so I'm glad, that there is this new opportunity to organize
You can use
uh,
this
uh,
change the
an email club, so to say, electronic club, and work with people who are also interested in this movement, and with Steve, of course, who is a wonderful, wonderful person and Rotarian, and everybody knows him. I think I don't have to talk about that. That's it, I guess, in a nutshell. Thank you for your attention.
We're so glad to have you with us, Galina. Ian?
Okay.
So I'm part of a local Rotary club here in Hilo, Hawaii. I own and operate a web development internet marketing company, and I am currently acting as the tech guy behind the scenes to get the We Rotary started.
Okay, great.
Fantastic. So, for today, we thought after the intros, we could invite Eddie to tell us his story about his project. And then we'll just get a brief update from Lisa and Ian, what's happening with some of the materials, the logo, the website, the one-pager. And then we'll turn it over to Steve to manage some Rotarian business. So Eddie, if you're ready.
Hey, Kat, Kat. This is Gretchen. I'm on as well. I'm sorry my camera's not working.
Okay,
great.
super. Well, please introduce yourself. We'll just imagine how beautiful you are right now.
Right. Nice to meet you all, Kat and Steve. It's wonderful to see you.
Hi, Gretchen.
I am a longtime fan of Kat, so it's thanks to Kat that I'm part of this group. And I live in Washington, D.C., and I run an organization called Youth Venture, which supports young people in designing and launching and running their own ventures. And we had a wonderful venture together in Hawaii when we supported some of the young people at the Peace Summit in starting their peace ventures.
And we're thrilled that you could join us today. Gretchen is also a mom, and your kids are how old, Gretchen?
5 and 6.
5 and 6. And does this time generally work for you on Tuesday at this hour?
Generally, yes. So kids are in bed by 8 o'clock, so it's right on time for me to join a call.
Perfect. Sorry, Gretchen, where did you say you were from? I didn't hear that part.
Washington, D.C.
Excellent. Thanks.
Sure.
All right. Eddie, are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. So, Gretchen, this is being recorded, so the slides that he's showing you'll be able to watch later. And you think it'll be about 15 minutes, Eddie?
Yes.
Okay,
maybe less than that.
All right.
And Eddie, I can see the screen. You just can't see me on because of the camera.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, shall I start now?
Yes, please remember to hold your microphone close. You're soft-spoken, and we want to be able to hear your full story, Eddie.
Okay. All right. So we start the Arakan, which is also called Yakai. We start in December 2013. Let me talk a little bit about my background and how we started this one. First, I was one of the leader of the Burmese community in Hawaii, and also a member of the Hawaii International Buddhist Association. I'm also a Burma political activist. So there's some common interest with Florey sponsor, who is a Rotarian. He's also a professor in religion and philosophy. So in 2006, I did self-imposed 24-hour house arrest with the U.S. campaign for Burma, just to give awareness to the international community that politicians are a number of politicians are arrested in Burma and they are kept in prison. And when 2007 and September, when there was a Saffron Revolution, um, the military regime killed a number of Buddhist monks. So we did a candlelight ritual at the Magic Island in Honolulu with other religious leaders. And I also spoke about voiceless people of Burma in churches and Buddhist temples. And that's how I met Peroni. He's a Rotarian. So a little bit background about the government. It was in 2008, Myanmar had a new constitution, which is mainly rubber stamped by the other so-called parliamentary people. After 2 years, when the military regime thinks that their constitution is pretty firm, they release Aung San Suu Kyi from house arrest. In 2011, the military government officially changed the army uniform to civilian clothes. In 2012, November, National League for Democracy won 41 out of 42 parliamentary seats at the by-elections. And since then, Aung San Suu Kyi began international speaking tours and also accept all her awards that was given while she was arrested in Burma. So in 2012, later, Dosu toured to the east and west coast of U.S. Along with her, Dr. Tima Aung, who is the chief of staff, happens to be my sister-in-law, and Angel Lim, which is my daughter, who acts as a chief protocol officer at that time. So Peroni contacted me that she wants, Rotary wants to invite Dosu as a keynote speaker in the Global Peace Forum, which is going to be held in Hawaii in 2030. I personally give over the invitation to her and had a very long discussion about this Rotary Global Peace Forum. Finally, she accepted as a keynote speaker. So how, since then, we're trying to arrange Dosu's visit to Honolulu, and then where I met Steve and Peroni, and we worked very close together. In her speech, keynote speech, she asked for international assistance to build her country. Dorothy, which is another of my sister-in-law from Arakan League for Democracy, also asked for help for Arakan or Rakhine people. Steve and Rotarians answered the call, and that's where Rotary Burma Military Humanitarian Projects were born. So that from there on, we were bonded with Steve. So the mission started in December 29, where we meet, greet, and had an orientation. This is Steve, and this is Tim Ma Aung, which is the chief of staff of Dosu. And we had a good lunch at the Yangon Savai restaurant. Next day, we start the trip. We left Yangon Airport where we take group picture. Steve, we have international doctors from Hong Kong, Beijing, Burma, and we have a big group. This is a little bit close-up view of our people, and actually there are about 25 people, 6 Rotarians. Oh, can you hear me? Hello.
We can hear
Can
you.
you hear me on? Okay. So there are about 6 international doctors and 1 local nurse. And also we have a Burmese or Arakan supporting group, and a monk and his assistant also came along. We took about 21 boxes of medication and the samples. This is where we go. This is western part of Burma, and Sittwe is here. And we went to Sittwe, and also we went to Miao U, which is on the northeast part of Sittwe. This is a little bit closer view where Sittwe is here and the Miao U will be here. And we went by air Bagan, and this is a monk who is the dean of the Rotary University, University, and this is our team. Here's the Steve, there's Noko, and there are the rest of us. So this is the Sittwe Airport. It's about 1 hour flight from Yangon to Sittwe. And because of the communal violence in Rakhine State, the government provided a security team to us. They want to make sure we're perfectly safe while we're staying there. This is a billboard that was welcoming to all of us that we're doing a volunteer job and humanitarian work. And we had a lunch, quick lunch at the monastery, and this is the health minister from Rakhine also welcome us. This is we're trying to get into the boat. Noko is right there, trying to get there. And this is the scenery of on the way to Miao U through the Bay of Bengal. You can see the pagoda on the shore, and we have a final discussion how we're going to carry out the medical mission. And we get to Miao U about 6:30. It's a bit dark, and the people try to welcome us with they dress up pretty well, and they try to welcome us. There's also the security people tag along us. We are in the bus, and when we reach hotel, the Arakan lead for democracy leaders welcome us. On that night, we set up a pharmacy. We also set up the medical clinic. And the next day, Steve and the Rotarian groups started the healthcare and education in the university, in the Miao U monastery. From the monastery, they brought all the patients, about 10 or 20 each, to the medical clinic. So they bring in some patients. You can see the young girl with the Tanaka, we call it in Burmese, which is a paste that you put on the face from the crown box, and they have served as a sunblock and also smooth the skin.
Mm.
And this is the ambulance that they use in Miao U. You can see a motorcycle with 3 wheels. This is a motorcycle one, and this is a mate.
Eddie, did you serve as the translator for the group?
there are some translator from the Burmese group, so did both for both translator and seeing the patient. The monks is he organized all those patients to be in order. They give the little booklets that we can write down the clinical features or signs and symptoms. And then next day they made up the tent where the patients can wait for us before seeing the patient. I've seen the doctors, and we also cook chicken curry for all the patients and the staff that attended the medical clinic and healthcare. So this is a health education giving under the tent. It was on the monastery before, and then we moved to the tent. And more patients waiting in line to see doctors. We did a blood pressure screening. We did the sugar and the urine testing. And local nurses helped us a lot in doing those things. We're seeing the patient, and here we are seeing with the nurses, and also the Prime Minister of Rakhine and came to our clinic and supported us. And we saw about 750 e-patients. You can see all the patients close to each other. There was no privacy. We were lucky there was no litigation lawyers there.
You had one.
Afterwards, we went. The next day, we went for sightseeing in Miao-U and the ancient pagodas there, and the pagodas in the distance. And there are a few young monks who are very curious about what we're doing here. And this is another tribe or Rakhine with the tattoo on the face. And afterwards, we return back to Sittwe, and you can see the beautiful seabirds accompanying us. And Steve is taking some pictures there. And this is on the way to Sittwe, and you can see the Noko coming right from the boat. And this is the Sittwe Hotel where we stay, and it's close to the beach. And this is a sunset at the Sittwe beach. It's just next to our hotel. And you can see some street vendors near the hotel. So on the 3rd, the next day, we start the healthcare and education in the monastery. And there's some Burmese translation. And
Welcome whoever has, excuse me, Eddie, welcome whoever has just come on. If you would just click your icon to the upper left for the webcam. Otherwise, you can call me at 907-299-2363 if you need support. Excuse the interruption, Eddie. Go ahead.
Okay. So we distribute all those toys, toothbrushes to the children. And then some children still want more munches also. And this is the medical team with the local nurses here. And this is where we did Sittwe Medical Clinic. And there's a local doctor also help us here. And this is a man-made crutches made in Rakhine with all the sticks and the things. And this is, we see about more than 450 patients in Sittwe in one day. And the pharmacy was mostly run by the nurses. And she is from Canada, a registered nurse, but she's retired. She's also double checking all the prescription, make sure the medication goes to the right patients. And that is the end of the mission. We were happy, and here we're going back to Yangon, and that's it.
Thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony.
Question?
That was a very well organized trip, Dr. Eddie. Congratulations, and thank you for putting that together.
Thank you. Steve is the one who lead us and make this happen.
And Dr. Eddie, since this is going to be put on YouTube, you can send this to our members, and they can view that slideshow on YouTube.
All right, good.
Wonderful. Let's just start with you, Galina, if you have one question or comment for Eddie, and we'll move to the left. So please begin.
Yeah, well, I guess I have to find out more about Burma. I don't know much about this country, unfortunately. But you know, from this presentation of what I surmise, so to say, it was very beneficial for the people of this village. I guess they evidently don't have enough medications there, right? Pharmaceuticals, I mean, drugs, you know, so the doctors as well. What about you know, medical assistance? What about healthcare in this village? Is it very hard to get? Are the cities and you know, civilization very far away from these villages?
Yes, they're very far away. I think where we went to Miao, there's, as far as I know, there's only one doctor and about 50 to 100,000 people. And when they have any major problem, they have to go to Sittwe. If they goes by car, it will take them about 5 to 6 hours. But if you go by boat, maybe 2.5 hours.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And pharmacy, I don't think they have a real big pharmacy or not. I don't think so.
Okay. That's yeah. So, does the government have any plans to remediate this situation? You know, of course, all these missions, you know, it's very, very well and wonderful, but I guess there should be something more drastic, you know, done in order to remediate the situation with the healthcare. Do you know? Well, maybe it's it's not your how to say this, authority or, you know, in field of expertise, but maybe just you probably know more about that than me.
Yeah, I think government is neglected health and education for many years, so we're trying to help them out. Yeah, but now they increase the budget. I think the they increased from 3.2 or something to another 0.5%, and to the health. Yeah, so it's nearly about 4% or 5% of the budget was go to the health.
Thank you, Ed.
Galina, Galina, if I can respond to that, yeah, it's the health conditions were a lot like Kamchatka when we first went there. So you can imagine, you know, when we went to ESSA, for example, no medicine, just one doctor, no support from the government. So it was very similar to that. But as happened in Russia, more and more improvements are being made, but they still have a long way to go. So they were very happy to see the medical team. Most of them hadn't been to see a doctor. They can't afford to travel to see doctors. So we had the whole village come out and welcome us.
Great. Are there any Rotarian clubs, you know, now in Burma?
Rotary is not yet Burma is not yet a Rotary country. The military has opened it up, and they say it's very close to becoming a Rotary country. They need the final approval of the president, and that's taking some time. So we're hopeful, and Rotary has a fairly good reputation, so we're hopeful that it'll happen within a short time. But they've been saying that for the last year. But we think it's going to happen fairly soon.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ed.
Lisa, did you have anything you wanted to say or ask? We're trying to wrap it up for Eddie so that he can get back to his work.
Yeah, well, and on that vein, you know, I would just say thank you for taking the time and sharing with us about the project. It sounds like it was a successful project. Can you just tell me this briefly? Your goal was to screen for kind of some basic medical conditions that you could treat right then. Was that the idea? I mean, obviously, if you found more serious conditions, there's not anything a clinic like that could do. So your goal was just to kind of provide some basic attention?
Yes, that's all right. We just first want to do screening for the blood pressure and the diabetes, so that patient will be aware of it, so that they can continue seeing the other doctors over there. At the same time, just people came in because they have pain here and there, so we treat a lot of pain patients. We have a stroke patients, and if they need some follow-up, then we ask them to go to see a doctor either in the Situate or in Miao-U. But the problem is that they don't have money to buy medications.
Sure.
And also have no money to go to the Situate also. Transportation costs a lot of money for them also.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. But so I was just trying to kind of get a feeling of what. So it's just, you know, those baseline, you were just trying to get a baseline and offer some basic medical care. And then, you know, if the project were to get expanded, then you maybe could screen for other things, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. For medical treatment, you need a long-term follow-up with the patients. So we're thinking of doing a surgical mission
Right after this.
Either end of the year or beginning of next year. So
you want me to write
more effective than the medical mission.
Gotcha.
One aspect of Rotary requires us to have a project that kind of helps us focus and galvanize. So perhaps we could have that be one of our first projects. Would you all be in favor of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we need a lot of help from Steve and all of you.
Fantastic.
And there is, of course, a follow-up. This mission was so successful, mainly thanks to Dr. Eddie and the contacts that he has. We're able to go into places that other organizations cannot. And so those people are not served because people can't get there. They can't get the permits from the government. So the next mission, we hope to publicize and expand, and we'll have a special session at the International Convention in Sydney that's coming up to try to get volunteers and get more assistance. So it's open to any number of different types of medical things that we can do. It's only up to the volunteers to give us ideas about what they can do.
Steve, I have a question, if I may.
Sure.
So the volunteers preferably should be doctors, right, and medical personnel. That's what you prefer, right?
Doctors, of course, are important, but Noko and I and many Rotarians went along to do a health fair. In a region like this, it's almost as important to educate people how to keep from getting sick. Once they're sick, the care is so minimal that it's really a very serious thing to get sick. So to explain about the evils of smoking, like in Russia, Galina, that you're aware, where we did so many health fairs, we tried to teach them about hygiene and prevention of diseases, alcoholism, and tobacco. They do a lot of betel nut chewing there, which is not very healthy. And so we are just volunteers, and it's not difficult to operate a display to help explain some of the health hazards. So we had ordinary people come with us, did a marvelous job in explaining our exhibits that we brought for the health fair. So it doesn't have to just be medical doctors. It could be any Rotarian who wants to volunteer. We'll train them to help.
I think maybe the first task for us could be to make this information available to as many Rotarian clubs around the world as possible, because we all know other maybe Rotarian clubs, and we can provide this information so that people maybe who want to volunteer, who want to contribute, can do this, right? It's just my suggestion.
Yes, and that's really one of the things that we're about, that we're able to reach so many people in the world through technology. And the fact that this is such a difficult place to work, it's an unexplored territory, and yet we have the entree into the area, I think could draw a lot of people who are interested in helping with projects in Myanmar, a country where Rotary hasn't made much headway at all. So I think the potential of interesting people, if we can get the word out, is tremendous.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And our club could be the vehicle to do that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Maybe we can just send a link. I can send a link to St. Petersburg Club, for example, for them to go to YouTube and to look at this presentation, and maybe if they have questions or suggestions, then they will be able to also to contribute something, I think.
That would be great. If they could meet us in Sydney, I think many Russians will come, and if they are told about the opportunity, we can recruit them and maybe have a contingent of Russians to come with us next time.
I wish I could go to Australia.
Oh, it's a wonderful experience, wonderful country, beautiful people.
Yeah, it's my dream actually to go to Australia and New Zealand.
I can see, Eddie, that you're eager to leave. Could we just ask Gretchen, do you have any comment or question before Eddie heads back to work?
No, thank you so much for sharing it. It's great to learn about what you're doing.
Fantastic. All right, thank you so much, Doctor.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I have to leave and see the patients.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to
Thank you very much.
everybody.
And good
Thank
luck.
you, Dr.
Bye.
Thank you for being here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, well, that was fantastic. How about, since we only have about 15 minutes left, let's just get a quick update on where we're at with the web, the logo, and the one-pager, if we could, Ian and Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa, go for it with your one-pager.
Okay, so I've been, and this is just kind of the way I tend to approach things, but I tend to want to look at the bigger picture and then narrow it down, just to a summary. So, is that me causing that echo? Maybe it is. Can y'all still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I've been doing is kind of trying to think. I've been looking at other online clubs and seeing how they do things, and I've also been kind of trying to think a little bit about how our website might get organized and what kind of information might be on there, and also what makes our club just a little bit different in the sense that we're, focused on peace-building projects specifically, and so I took a first stab at, I think I sent it to the smaller group, and I can certainly send it to a larger group, but right now it's just kind of a jumble of notes. and Kat's written some really great pieces as well. So I kind of want to incorporate all of that. What I really want to do is be able to share the fact that, yes, we're a Rotary Club, but we're taking it kind of I feel like we want to take it a step farther than that. And so I really feel like, you know, I want to convey that in what we're saying. So the one thing I'm wondering is if, I know I love our logo, but I don't know if we have any pictures that really kind of capture our essence just yet. But if anybody has, you know, kind of springs to mind, hey, I know a great picture, it's one or two for the one pager might be something. Visual is always good to kind of get the point across. So anyway, the bottom line of all that is I am pulling together kind of a broader outline, and then hopefully I'll be able to narrow that into a one-pager that everyone can kind of put their input in, which, you know, I think this needs to come from all of us. So anyway, it looks like there's been some other clubs. The oneworldrotary.org is one of them, and then there's another. So there's two that I found online that look like they've got some good traction and some kind of good basic outline that we can kind of borrow and tweak for our own use. So anyway, that's where I'm at with that. It's a work in progress.
Okay, so as far as the logo, I mean, and the rest of it, the hard part is developing something when we are not even fully developed. But we're working towards
right.
that. And, you know, I've been sharing that screen with you guys. Hopefully you've seen that this whole time, just what we've put together thus far. And, you know, as we develop, maybe this will develop farther, or maybe it will stay the same. I think as we get more people involved, more feedback, and the more we move in those directions, we'll know whether or not this is going to be a good direction for us as far as a brand identity or a logo for our club. And you know, once we get the logo and the one sheet, I think we're looking into getting just a little bit of funding just to be able to do the hosting and some little small aspects of the website and get that going. And I think it's pretty much our first steps at this point. And we can't get the website done until we get, you know, a little bit of a plan and that one sheet and this logo done. So we have a real broad kind of basic timeline that we're shooting for, hopefully at this point being, I would say, mid-March, to have most of this all worked out.
And yeah, and I have a lot of a vision, Ian. I think I need to I really want it to just be, you know me, I like to have it be organized before I send it to you. But I really am starting to pull some thoughts together, and I feel like those thoughts they'll summarize into a one-pager, but they will also expand to help guide us where we want the website to go. So I feel like, you know, I'm pulling together some good information, and once I get that just a little bit more organized, I think it'll be helpful for what you're, you know, doing on the website as well. So
perfect.
Okay, that's great progress. Gretchen, you see the initial iteration of the We Rotary logo. Do you have any comments you'd like to add?
I love it. I love the name We Rotary, and I love the symbol. I think it looks beautiful.
Great.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I like this symbol too. It resembles the Picasso's dove a little bit, and I think it's a good reference. I mean, yeah, I like it. Thank you. Thank you for all the work that you've done. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, nice job, Ian.
Thank you.
So we were going to have a conversation about what things we wanted to include in our meeting along the lines of values and other kinds of activities, but I think we'll shelve that for our next time that we meet. There are some pressing Rotary things that we need to address. So Steve, could we invite you to manage those things about our sponsor club and paperwork and officers and meetings and all of that? You have that list.
Okay. Well, the big news is we have a wonderful sponsor club. And I've just transferred my membership over so that I can be part of their sponsorship with NOCO. We're both part of the Hilo South Club now. We met with the president and the board, and they agree to put up the money for sending our president-elect to training in San Jose. They also agree to help with some of the web costs, and they will do the celebration in Hilo on the 5th of May when we receive our charter. Immediate past President Sakuchi Tanaka will be there to give us our charter. So they're all planning that for us. The big thing is that they will lend their support to training our officers. We're light on Rotary experience, but we have a lot of talent, and it's nothing that we can't do with a little bit of help from experienced Rotarians. So they will be our mentors. Jim, the secretary of the club, has been secretary for the last 10 years. So he knows all there is to know about being a secretary. And he agrees that he will work with our secretary for training. And so there's no need to feel too apprehensive about getting into something that you've never done before. So we're now ready. I think we're close to being what's called a provisional club. A provisional club doesn't take any permission from Rotary International. All it takes is permission from our district governor. And the district governor has appointed a representative to mentor our club. So we have to convince the special representative to our club that we're ready to be provisional. And he's saying to be provisional, we have to have officers and be meeting once a week. So the immediate thing is, I think we need to decide who our officers are going to be. And that's important because the president-elect will be going to training March the 7th. And we have to enroll for that special training. It's very important because it'll provide so much information to the president-elect to lead us in this new endeavor and to make the contacts with all the other president-elects that can help us. Like this project that can help support our Burma project or whatever other project that we want to bring forth. So it's critical, it's time critical to have officers and to start meeting once a week so that we can send our president-elect to PETS, that's President-Elect's Training Seminar, they call it PETS, and be ready to be a club by May the 5th. I'm sure we'll be a club way before that, maybe in March. It takes 25 members to become a club, but it doesn't take any number of members to be a provisional club. So the first thing we need to do, I think, is to elect our officers. And I'd like to start it off by nominating Kat to be our president.
Second.
And can we vote? All in favor?
Absolutely.
Aye.
Aye.
Signify
Aye.
by raising your hand. Say aye. Any opposed? Okay, so Kat is now our president. And she's going to
Hooray.
need...
Congratulations.
Yay, Kat! She's going to need a secretary, a treasurer, I'm not sure, a vice president, and what's called a sergeant at arms. The secretary plays a key role, and of course, the treasurer, we need to start collecting money, and so the treasurer needs to set up a bank account and do those functions. So, Kat, do you have people that you'd like to nominate for those offices?
Well, I could ask each of you to play a role. I think that Ian, you have to be disqualified, right? Is that because you're an honorary member?
Right. I think at this point I am going to maintain my membership here with the local club, but still join every meeting here with you guys.
Okay.
That might change next year, but for
Mhm.
now, it's going to remain that way.
Okay. And Steve, you're not able to be an officer either, is that correct?
Well, I can be. I'm officially, I have to maintain my Rotary status, so I'm
Okay.
officially a member of the Hilo South Club. But
Okay.
just it's easy for me to transfer, and I
Okay.
will if I'm needed. But I'd like to have new people trained in
Okay.
to be an officer.
Okay.
So I prefer not unless no one else can serve, then I'll fill that role.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to know what our current field of availability was before I asked the question. Um, it sounds like what we have is Lisa, Galina, and Gretchen. Are you all willing to then serve in some capacity so that we can reach this next level?
Yeah, well, I guess we should try to do what we can because there are not enough members. Hopefully, there will be more members later on. But yeah, even now, it's not enough people to to occupy all the positions, for the officers necessary to charter the club.
Hello.
I guess it's our duty.
Hello. Hello.
Do we get
Hello,
someone new
can you
on
hear
board?
me?
Yes, I
Somebody's,
can hear you. Good afternoon.
Who is
Hello.
that?
is it
Hello.
Satana?
Yes, Patana. Having problem on the Hangout, but I try to call by the mobile phone.
Wonderful. We're glad you're here.
Hello,
Perfect
everyone.
timing.
Patana here from the Rotary Club of Puttachinerat in northern Thailand.
If I can introduce Satana, he was our guest, our host in Pisanaruk when we went to visit. He has offered to be our sister club, and I entertained the idea because they have a wonderful club. It's a brand new club, only about a year old, and already they have over 80 members. Is that right, Satana?
It's 78 now.
78 members, and he's just the
Yes.
genius in bringing in new members. And I thought he would be a wonderful resource to show us how he did it. However, Satana, we're in a critical part of the meeting right now. We're trying to elect our officers. So if I can ask you to stay on hold until we finish this part of the meeting, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the intention today is just like to say hello to everyone that I would be happy to join the meeting. But unfortunately, when the meeting changed for one day earlier, then I had to rush out for the field trip. And I'm trying to call now just to, having conversation with all of you as much as we can. But anyway, I'm going out now. Actually, I'm late already. Sorry
Thank you.
about that for the interruption. But yeah,
Thank
that's
you
good.
thank you so much. Can we just verify, is this generally a good time for you to be able to meet with us?
Yeah, sure. We need to keep conversations or connection via email. So as long as I know about a week in advance.
Yes.
Or if you make any change, let's say 3 days in advance, then I should be able to attend the meeting, especially like this time.
Of course. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but I cannot join the meeting this time. And although actually I failed twice already, but this time it's very unfortunate that I have a duty.
Thank you for connecting with us today. Have a good day.
Yeah, have a good day. Yeah, have a good meeting. Bye, Steve. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Talk to you next time.
Isn't it amazing that we're just connecting Houston, California, Hawaii, Thailand. Soon it will be Russia. We've got DC. It's really wonderful that we can use the technology to do this. So what do you think, ladies, is the best way to manage filling the secretary, treasurer, and vice president?
Well, can I have a question, or maybe this, I don't know, maybe Steve, does the treasurer need to physically sit in Hawaii? Do the bank accounts need to be open in Hawaii because that's where our anchor is?
No, I think it just needs to be in the United States because the currency will be in dollars. So our members from Thailand, for example, will be sending dollars into our bank account, and we will be transmitting those dollars to Evanston, near Chicago. So it could be any member in the United States to handle our bank account.
Can I ask a quick question, Steve?
Yes.
Is there any rules or regulations that dictate what that bank account needs to be and how monies transact? Basically, the question is, are we able to use something like PayPal, which makes it easy for people to donate or pay dues or things of that nature online?
Sure. I mean, just like any other um, payment, our dues would fall into a category of receiving money. So any of the traditional ways of receiving money is up to us.
Great, because PayPal would make it very easy for anyone to be a treasurer because PayPal is not only a payment gateway and able to take credit cards and things of that nature and pass money back and forth, but it's also a virtual bank account essentially. So it could be everything for us if we were able to go that direction. Anyway, go ahead, continue.
So you're saying we wouldn't even open a regular bank account? We would do it all through PayPal? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know if there are rules that allow you to do that or not, but it's possible. It's very possible to do that. PayPal is in fact a virtual bank account.
We would have to check, and that would be something we could ask our sponsor club about the transmittal of that money to Rotary. I don't know if they have PayPal. They might. We'd have to check on that.
Steve, since you are aware of what each of these jobs is, what's involved in them, could you just review that for all of us so that everyone knows what they're committing to for Vice President, Treasurer, and Secretary?
I would say the secretary is a key role. That's the person that takes attendance, for example, keeps a record on the membership. Also, anyone who joins us for makeup, I'm sure we can automate this, but they need to get credit for their makeup. So that would be something the secretary would issue. All the things that go into the day-to-day operation of the organization is what the secretary does. So, of course, the president in their training will get manuals on what each of the officers are responsible for, and could delegate, some of the work to other people. But it's generally the secretary that has to keep an accounting of the minutes of the meetings, or I'm not sure how you want to work the YouTube website and the information about what meetings we've had, but they would all be under the purview of the secretary. But as I say, I don't know much. I've never been a secretary, but I do know that a club without a good secretary is it's not a very good club, because that's such a key role.
What would you say
next to the president?
What would you say would be the qualities of an outstanding secretary, Steve? Organized, timely?
Organized, detail-oriented, able to put together reports, good communication with the president.
Okay, and treasurer then?
I'm sorry?
And treasurer?
Treasurer? Again, I'm not the best person. It's all contained in the manual. I sent everyone a copy of the bylaws and the articles that lay out the duties, but the treasurer, of course, keeps a bank account or a PayPal account. He receives money, pays the bills, pays the dues to the district and to Rotary International.
Can I recommend something real quick? I know that
Sure.
there's probably a lot more members or potential members who could also potentially fill these positions that we don't even know of at this point, who haven't even joined yet, who are interested in. I know the last time we all met, Steve and Kat both had a handful of other people who are interested who aren't here today. So I'm wondering is it enough to have Kat as our president today, and then have Kat and maybe all of us recommend and put forward some nominations to Kat of who the other officers could be, and let her decide on that over the course of the next week or two?
Are you comfortable with that, Kat?
It's a matter of timing, Steve. How soon does this new club application need to be submitted? March?
Well, there are 3 forms that we need to submit to be a club. One is a survey, which outlines why a club is needed, and I've already done that. The other is the sponsor club certification, and I just got that signed by the president and secretary of the Hilo South Club, so that's done. And the third is the charter application, and that is the application we need to become a Rotary Club. Right now, we're looking to become a provisional club. So that third application isn't necessary until we've got the 25 members to become a club. So
Okay.
we're just trying to reach the first threshold of which requires officers and meeting once a week, according to our special representative. And that's sort of why we've got a little bit of a deadline, because we want to be certified so that Kat can go to the president's training. And we've got to be able to tell him that we're meeting once a week and we have officers.
So is it possible that we could have placeholders for officers at this point, and if, some weeks in the future we saw that we wanted to shift that, would that be possible?
Yes, we can. We can have officers right now, and when it comes to our charter, they can be totally different people.
Okay.
They're just officers for the purpose of being a provisional club. And of course, they have their duties as a provisional club, but they're not official until we become a chartered club, in which case we'll have the permanent